Let's get started. So with the peaches, skin, absolutely, I stay on. I don't peel it. I love the firmness of that whole peach being together, so I absolutely take this, leave the whole peach together. So all you're gonna do is just run your knife, because you can feel the pit that's inside there, and just run it across till you kind of get complete cutting all the way around. You then are just gonna twist your peach, and one side will be absolutely perfect. What you can do, and I don't suggest this if it's things, but you can slam your knife into this to pull out the pit. For all of us that maybe don't have maybe a sharp enough knife, because you definitely need it, I just take like a core, or you can take like a paring knife or something like that, and just go around your pit. We're going to be adding cheese on here, so you just slightly go around it. So don't make it like you feel like it has to be perfect, but just make sure you pull out the pit, and you're totally fine. So you're all good there. You could absolutely take this out to the grill. It would be fantastic to I would just set up my peaches, I would take my grill, or take them out to the grill and do that. It's absolutely terrific. But I do this inside more times than not. I do have a non-stick grilling pan. So because of that, whenever you guys use non-sticks, a light, very light brushing of oil onto your non-sticks will keep them really nice. So you don't have to add a lot of oil, but you should just take a little coating of oil onto yours. The other thing you can do, especially if you go out to the grill, is take your peaches and just rub it just real lightly with some oil, and you'll be good. So I do start with my side down because I'm going to be adding the burrata. So I just lay these out. You can hear them going. You're about 2 minutes on each side. So we're just going to let those rest. And while that's getting their grill marks, I'm about medium-high heat. You want your sear marks, but you don't need this to be, you want it searing, so you need it hot, but it doesn't have to be crazy hot. You can see I'm just smoking a teeny bit, and don't touch them while they're, so you know you got at least about 2 minutes for sure on each side. When we flip these, I'm going to be adding the burrata or whatever cheese you have. This salad is absolutely fantastic cold. You can make ahead, throw it in the refrigerator. It's absolutely terrific. Even the cheese cold and things like that. I don't know, I like my cheese to be melted just a teeny bit on top of each of my peaches. So I'm just going to cut my burrata just very lightly into quarters. And I can already start smelling that I'm probably getting close to grill marks. So you can see how beautifully my grill marks are going. So as I flip these, see how they're all doing? They're all doing really well. So I don't even know if I was 2 minutes on there. I usually thought it's around, but so just kind of watch it and smell it. I'm actually going to lay right in each of the perfect pockets. Lay my burrata right on top. Like I said, if you want to go and put this onto your salad and put the burrata next to it, it's absolutely terrific. I just like those few minutes of it all just kind of marrying together a little bit. If you have a lid, and let me just get my water. But if you're out on the grill, you can see how much of a mess you're going to make or what. So if you just want to, like I said, lay the burrata right next to this, and I'm just going to take a second and steam it. Oh, what kind of oil was that? Yes, I always use extra virgin olive oil. There's never a question on what oil I'm using. And olive oil, I know a lot of people don't think it has a high heating point, but it actually does. So I will always go into my extra virgin olive oil. So thank you, Elaine. So you are kind of done with this. And I'm just going to give it one more second here while I take that. So all I do is I lay out my bed of arugula. I'm making this for 4 tonight. And what's nice, if you guys are cooking, I know you guys always kind of ask me, what am I doing for dinner? I actually, because I love one pan meals, I've actually been marinating like a lemon pepper and salt in my chicken, so I will do a quick grill on that right after, and that's my dinner. Grilled chicken on this absolutely tastes terrific with the peaches, so you're totally good. But I like chicken or anything like that. So you can see how beautifully it just kind of took the burrata to another level and just kind of married into each of my peaches. So I'm assuming, as I have these peaches, when people are grabbing their salad, they are going to, let me get this off for a second. I'm assuming they're going to grab with tongs, they just grab it, they're going to grab some arugula, and they're going to grab the peach and the burrata cheese all together. Absolutely fantastic, and like I said, this can be cold, so no worries if you want it to be cold. Let me get my little guy over there. Okay. I dress this in 3 different ways, and I'm going to share one of my I'm going to just turn this off because I think the noise might be. There's 3 vinaigrettes that I love to use, and I would normally take my balsamic glaze, extra virgin olive oil, and I would just lightly drizzle over all this olive oil and a balsamic glaze, and it's terrific. The balsamic glaze with the peaches, fantastic. I don't normally salt at this point. You guys can do a very light salting if you want, but you absolutely don't have to use pepper because the arugula is going to be doing that for you. Walnuts and pecans, probably again, it depends how much you want to go in here, but I usually will go into a very light pecan or walnut kind of right on top of there. So the nuttiness and the sweetness of the peach and the burrata cheese, killer good. So like I said, I normally will go into just extra virgin olive oil and balsamic glaze for my finish. I do have on my website the citrus vinaigrette, absolutely terrific. I would do my citrus vinaigrette also on here. But, oh my gosh, if you can, this dressing can be used for so much, and I'm actually going to be using as part of it with my chicken. It's kind of like a small dipping sauce to kind of marry all this. This salad dressing vinaigrette is so easy, but you do need a food processor. So it's sticking to my counter right now, and I think I'm going to scoot this over. Okay. Literally, you guys, oh my gosh, it's so good. I already did it ahead of time, and it takes a minute. You take a whole peach, cut it in half, de-pit it. Never use, oh, Deb, wait till you taste this with the peaches. This, especially on chicken, is going to be so good. But even the watermelon, it's almost like you bump up your citrus vinaigrette that we love so much, and the sweetness of the peaches right now being in season, oh my gosh, so good. So I have 1 large peach that I just cored into quarters. I have a 1/2 cup of olive oil, extra virgin, about 1/3 cup of white balsamic, and you guys will laugh. I have no more white balsamic, because that's how much I use it. I thought I had, you know how we all think something's in the pantry and it's not, because I never not have white balsamic. So I just used my juicy balsamic. So if you have a balsamic vinegar you like, it absolutely is fine. You don't have, I will call out the recipe as white balsamic. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. But the white balsamic, I know my sister just tasted it too. There is a little bit more brightness to a white balsamic vinegar, if that makes sense, but don't get too hooked up in here. We are not using a red wine vinegar. This is a balsamic vinegar, and this will be whether white or just your, you guys all know I love my juice tea, but for sure I would like white, but I was out of it. So I put that in, and then a teaspoon of, I love wildflower honey. I just used a teaspoon of that in there, and salt, because don't forget salt will always bring out the sweetness in any of these recipes we do. And you just blend it, and it is, oh my gosh, it's so fantastic. So so I definitely wanted to show you. So this is because it's a little browner because I used regular balsamic, but if you notice the consistency, and this is what I was kind of wanting to show you before I added more, this is a little thicker than I would normally have my vinaigrette, so it's not something I would pour. I personally am totally fine with it. I'm totally fine with adding a drizzle, you know, like almost putting this right on, here, I'll just do it. I would absolutely be fine doing that and probably put a fresh basil leaf on top. If you want this a little thinner, adjust your olive oil and your balsamic, but just more your olive oil. You might just need a little bit more if you wanted to go there and do a full pour. And especially because I know I'm going to be doing grilled chicken, I wanted something a little thicker, so I'm going to be running that right across each piece of my chicken. Thank you guys for always joining, and if you always have to look for my printable recipe, I'm going to clean things up on my link tree because I think there was getting too many recipes on there for you guys, so it'll take you directly to my website for you to be able to print them out. And if you have always any questions, and I love seeing your photos, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you very much, and let me know how the grilled peach burrata arugula salad turns out for you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. But I wanted to do my housekeeping. There is an organization called EWG.org. You guys can all go on there, it's fabulous, but they kind of every year update you on, they call it the Dirty Dozen or things like that, some of the worst fruits and vegetables that, for produce, and I'm not really hung up on everything has to be organic or anything like that, but I just wanted to alert you guys to that. And peaches is really high up there. So as I'm working into peaches, I want you to make sure if you don't buy organic or if you don't buy at your farmer's market, please make sure that you do wash these. I know we all try to wash our fruits and vegetables and all that kind of thing, but with peaches especially, because it is ranking up there pretty high on this list. And what I usually do, I know they have the chemicals and things like that you do. What I learned from a chef in Mexico was just take some lemon, if you have some lemon juice or a lime, and just roll it across your fruits especially, and it's fabulous and it kills all the bacteria and things that are on the fruit. So I just wanted to go on that. I was asked how to pick peaches. Here's a couple things. A lot of it's going to determine on how soon you know you're going to eat that or cook it. So knowing today as I went to my market to get the peaches for tonight, I needed it ripe but not mushy. So there's this fine line. If you know that it's going to be a day or two before you get to it, just be a little firmer on your peach, because it usually is about a few days that the peaches will last at your home. So just a little trick there. So if you know it's something that you're cooking that night or even the next day, I would tend to, that I know I can push my fingers in and it's soft and tender to me, but not squishy. So when you're picking, just kind of know when you're going to use it or cook it. So, oh, peach pie. Oh my gosh, we should do that. So as we're doing this, this is such a simple recipe, but there is an absolutely fantastic vinaigrette, Debbie, that I know for sure I need you to try. But arugula, I love arugula. You guys can substitute this arugula, but I found, like with my watermelon salad and this peach salad, the arugula with that pepper is killer good, and I love the combination together. There are like the spring mixes where if people that don't like too much arugula, and I don't know, there's a little portion of it in there. Even that little bit of arugula in the spring mixes is fantastic, so you can always go there. I personally would not suggest like your icebergs or your romaines or things like that. I tend to just really like the, like I said, more your deeper greens when making salads like this, and it's really just fresh and delicious. It is, but I add some, yeah, you can add it, for sure. But I think as long as you're mixing, if you're not 100% arugula kind of people, add it within some arugula so that you get some of the pepperiness of arugula. So absolutely, for sure. So what I'm going to be doing is, oh, one other thing. Peaches right now are absolutely fantastic, but not always, and we can't always get them. So what I wanted to let you know, peaches in the jar are absolutely terrific, or even in the can. You can make this. You're just not taking a whole peach. So by far, a great substitution. We always have peaches. The slices even work. You're just going to grill it a little differently when we get to the grilling. But if you can get to like the half sliced peaches, that works great too, because I like to add my burrata within the peach itself. But actually cans and the jars work really good too, so you can absolutely substitute there. I do use burrata because you guys all know I'm really getting addicted to the stracciatella, which is inside of burrata, and it's a very creamy cheese when we're kind of done. Mozzarella works absolutely terrific, but I don't know if you guys know, when you go to the grocery store, there's usually the harder, I think the buffalo tends to be a little more firmer. And then the mozzarella, some of them tend to be in where it's a little softer of a ball. I would absolutely do that. We want some movement and creaminess to this, especially when we have the peaches and the grilling and the smokiness. A really nice creamy cheese is fantastic. For my vegans, I know for David, my son, there was a really beautiful vegan cheese that I really loved, or people that don't want to go into dairy. There's a really good vegan cheese. Feta would not, my watermelon salad, I'm absolutely all over feta cheese on top of that thing. Not on my peaches, it's just a personal preference. So if I had to choose, I would go burrata. I would go more into like a very soft mozzarella that I had, but it's not to say feta would be bad. I don't know, I like the creaminess with my peaches, so just me.